On today's Days of Our Lives, Chad gets home to the Horton house, much to Jennifer and Jack's relief. JJ, he says, is escorting Gabby home. He fills them in on what happened, from Clyde's coma to not getting any info on Abigail's remains. They take in the news that they may never know what happened to her. They assure Chad he didn't fail him or disappoint Abigail. Jennifer tells him Abigail is with her parents, grandparents, Doug, everyone they've loved and lost. She goes and gets Alice's time capsule. It was meant to preserve the family's legacy of love. It was opened for a reason, and Jennifer believes it was to fill it with memories of Abigail. Days Jennifer sits with the time capsule, surrounded by Jack and Chad. More, today's Savannah Guthrie celebrates a Christmas miracle. They start gathering things, from her first article for the paper to a lock of Abigail's hair from her first haircut and a picture Thomas and Charlotte drew of the family. Chad adds his wedding band as Jack texts JJ to let him know what's happening. JJ drops Gabby off at home, thanking her for what she went through to help him. He owes her a ton. What did you have in mind? He's not sure, but she's a hero. Gabby points out she wasn't altruistic, she'll never want to stop making Clyde pay for torturing her. Gabby's glad he's been shot, then immediately takes it back and apologizes because it means he won't get Abigail's remains back. He tells her to stop apologizing, he gets it. He talks about how much this sets them back in moving on and accepting she's gone, and Gabby says she understands. She lost her sister, but at least she can visit her grave. He can't imagine going home to his parents and telling them they failed. Days Gabby looks into JJ's eyes as she rests her hands on his chest. They part with JJ telling Gabby that he was thinking of sticking around Salem for a while instead of going back to Johannesburg. Claire can look after the business there, he has to stay by his family. They agree to grab dinner or a drink sometime and JJ leaves. Out in the square, Kat's on the phone with her mom's lawyer. She hangs up as Aaron slinks over, still feeling awkward about her being his sister looking totally different. She hugs him and reassures him it's true. He asks about the lawyer she hired and Kat says she's great, but it'll be an uphill battle for their mom. It wasn't her fault, he insists. They have to let her go, Aaron says, just like they have to let Mark go. Self-defense won't work, but hopefully the brainwash angle will get her off. To be fair, it would in Salem. But Vancouver, they'll just have to hope for another miracle. But it's going to be a long, bumpy road to repair the mental damage Clyde did over the years. The good news is, she's alive and free of him. Days Kat greets Aaron in the Horton Square. More, new life ahead for legacy characters. Then Felicity shows up with her friend's mom, who she's been staying with. Aaron introduces the woman to Kat, who then leaves. Felicity asks if Kat's really her sister, but hesitates when Kat assures her she is. You don't look like Kat. Big Sis pulls up a chair and explains what happened, from the accident to the plastic surgery. She was just pretending with the whole Abigail thing. They recall the time Felicity cut off Barbie's hair and tried to blame it on Aaron, and Felicity's eyes light up. You are my sister. Kat cries as she takes her sister in. Felicity asks about their mom, and while Kat says she can't see them, Aaron suggests that doesn't mean they can't go to her. Text reads, subscribe to Soap's Days of Our Lives newsletter. Get breaking news alerts, daily recaps, exclusive interviews and spoilers sent straight to your inbox. https://cloud.email.soaps.com/signup. EJ comes cheerfully singing into the SPD interrogation room to talk to Dr. Green about his future, or what's left of it, anyway. He hands him a plea deal and tells him to sign it immediately, if you know what's good for you. EJ happily walks him through the guilty plea that'll give him a reduced sentence. He'll only get 10 years in prison instead of 25. Mark's incredulous, but EJ says he's getting off easy for trying to murder his brother. He shrugs off Mark's, Clyde made me do it sob story. He's not getting away with trying to kill a DiMera and crossing his family. He pounds the table and demands Mark sign the deal. He's his sibling's legal guardian. What about them? EJ tells him he has no choice, but as Mark reaches for the pen, Belle bursts in, telling him not to sign the paper. She's not letting EJ railroad her client into making a bad deal. They start going at it almost immediately, while Mark is left wondering who Belle is. Dazed, Belle and EJ both look off-screen in surprise to Mark. EJ's confused, thinking she's still working for DiMera in Hong Kong, but she assures him she's not an actual employee, just a consultant. And she can take whatever case she damn well wants. Tate's the one that asked her to help Mark. She points out that Clyde forced him, which EJ pushes back on. Then she says the alleged crime happened in Paris, and he's got no jurisdiction to try an international case. Belle rolls her eyes when EJ mentions the crime happened to an American citizen, his brother. He can't use the DA office to settle personal scores. Mark pipes up that he never meant to hurt anyone, and the two suddenly remember he's there and turn to him, with Belle telling him to shut it and let her handle things. Okay. EJ tries turning the crime to DNA tampering, but Belle says that doesn't cut it in this town. Everyone's done it and gotten off, including your ex-wife and my sister. So he tries pushing extradition and she counters with time served, community service and no extradition. You and I both know, everything's negotiable. Days all four of the Greens hug it out in the Horton Square. More, is Tate really the father? In the show's final moments, Mark's gone and EJ congratulates Belle. Dr. Green's lucky to have her, but if he doesn't adhere to the terms of the deal to the letter, he'll prosecute him fully. EJ calls her Mrs. Brady and she informs him it's Ms. Black. She and Sean are divorced. She waltzes out as EJ looks thoughtful. Out in the square, the Greens get excited about a family road trip to see Mom. They hug just as Mark walks up with the news that he's free, thanks to Aaron. He's out on bond and only has to serve 18 months. Aaron's aghast, but it could have been worse. He's got time before he has to turn himself in. At home, Gabby thinks back to waking up next to JJ. He, meanwhile, arrives just as the rest of the family is outside preparing to bury the new Abigail capsule. Jack and Jennifer tell him, like Chad, that he's got nothing to be sorry about. JJ adds a memento of his own, a Halloween photo from when they were kids, and they bury the capsule in Abigail's grave. Jack and Jen insist Chad do the burying, while JJ adds flowers to the grave. Days of Our Lives, Belle battles EJ for Mark's freedom and Abigail's family finally accept that she's gone. In the ever-turbulent town of Salem, emotional storms have once again swept through the lives of its residents, leaving heartbreak, intrigue, and dramatic confrontations in their wake. Belle Black and EJ DiMera find themselves on opposing sides as they battle for the freedom of Mark, a character whose future hangs precariously in the balance. Meanwhile, the Devereaux family struggles to move forward, grappling with the painful realization that Abigail is gone forever. These two storylines have captured the hearts of viewers, weaving together themes of justice, loss, and the enduring strength of family bonds. Belle's determination, fighting for Mark's freedom. The courtroom in Salem has seen its fair share of battles, but few have been as emotionally charged as the current legal showdown between Belle Black and EJ DiMera. Mark, a young man accused of a crime he swears he didn't commit, is caught in the crossfire. Belle, ever the fierce and determined attorney, is convinced of his innocence and has taken on his case pro bono. To her, this is more than just a legal fight, it's a mission to ensure that justice prevails. Mark's case is shrouded in mystery. Accused of a high-profile burglary at a DiMera-owned property, he claims he was set up. The evidence against him seems damning, security footage showing someone resembling Mark entering the building, a witness's testimony placing him near the scene, and stolen items found in his car. However, Belle's instincts tell her there's more to the story. This isn't just about Mark, Belle confides to her husband, Sean. It's about holding EJ accountable for his endless schemes. He'll do anything to protect his empire, even if it means destroying an innocent man's life. EJ, on the other hand, insists he's merely pursuing justice. With his smooth-talking demeanor and ruthless determination, he's pulling every string to ensure Mark pays for the alleged crime. But as Belle digs deeper, she uncovers inconsistencies in the prosecution's case, suggesting that EJ may have fabricated evidence to frame Mark. Tensions escalate as Belle and EJ's professional rivalry becomes increasingly personal. Their fiery courtroom exchanges have become a spectacle in Salem, drawing a packed gallery at every hearing. Belle's cross-examinations leave witnesses fumbling, while EJ's calculated strategy keeps the prosecution's narrative intact. Both are relentless, refusing to back down. Outside the courtroom, the stakes grow higher. Belle receives anonymous threats warning her to drop the case, which she suspects are orchestrated by EJ. Meanwhile, Mark's family rallies around him, grateful for Belle's unwavering support. Abigail's family, facing the painful truth. While the courtroom drama unfolds, another tragedy continues to cast a shadow over Salem. The Devereaux family is grappling with the loss of Abigail, a beloved wife, mother, and daughter, whose untimely death has left a void that feels impossible to fill. Although months have passed since her passing, the family struggles to accept the reality of her absence. For Chad, Abigail's husband, the grief is all-consuming. He's haunted by memories of their life together, from their whirlwind romance to the challenges they overcame as a couple. Every corner of the DeMera mansion reminds him of her, the scent of her favorite perfume lingering in the bedroom, the sound of her laughter echoing in his mind. Despite his best efforts to stay strong for their children, Thomas and Charlotte, he often finds himself breaking down in private moments. "Daddy, when is Mommy coming back?" Thomas asks one evening, clutching a photo of Abigail. Chad's heart shatters as he struggles to find the right words. "Mommy's in heaven, buddy," he says, holding back tears. "But she'll always be with us in our hearts." Jennifer and Jack Devereaux, Abigail's parents, are also navigating their grief in different ways. Jennifer channels her pain into activism, launching a foundation in Abigail's name to support victims of violence. Jack, meanwhile, throws himself into his work at The Spectator, hoping to find solace in routine. Despite their efforts to stay busy, the weight of their loss is ever present. The turning point comes when the family decides to hold a memorial service to celebrate Abigail's life. As they plan the event, they each confront their grief head-on. Chad hesitates to write a eulogy, fearing he won't do Abigail justice. Jennifer struggles to choose photos for the slideshow, each one a painful reminder of what they've lost. Jack, ever the rock of the family, takes on the role of organizer, but even he can't hide his emotions. The memorial service is a bittersweet occasion. Friends and family gather to share memories of Abigail, painting a picture of a woman who was fiercely loyal, endlessly compassionate, and deeply loved. As they reflect on her life, a sense of closure begins to take hold. Parallel journeys, justice and healing. The stories of Belle's fight for Mark's freedom and the Devereaux family's journey through grief intersect in unexpected ways, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit. Both narratives explore the lengths people will go to for those they love, whether it's seeking justice in a courtroom or finding peace after a devastating loss. For Belle, the case becomes a test of her integrity and resolve. She uncovers a crucial piece of evidence, a recording of EJ instructing one of his henchmen to plant the stolen items in Mark's car. Armed with this proof, she delivers a powerful closing argument that exposes EJ's manipulation and casts doubt on the prosecution's case. The jury deliberates for hours before delivering a verdict of not guilty, a triumph that brings tears of relief to Mark and his family. EJ, though publicly humiliated, vows revenge, setting the stage for future confrontations with Belle. Their rivalry is far from over, but for now, Belle can take comfort in knowing she's made a difference. Meanwhile, the Devereaux family finds solace in their shared memories of Abigail. After the memorial service, Chad decides to honor Abigail's legacy by creating a scholarship fund in her name, ensuring her kindness and generosity will live on. Jennifer and Jack, inspired by their daughter's courage, rekindle their commitment to each other, finding strength in their bond. As the episode concludes, viewers are left with a sense of hope. While the pain of loss and the struggle for justice are undeniable, the resilience of Salem's residents shines through. Belle's victory in the courtroom and the Devereaux family's steps toward healing remind us that even in the darkest of times, there is always a path forward. Looking ahead, the events in Salem are far from over. Belle's triumph over EJ is sure to have ripple effects, both in her personal life and in the power dynamics of the DiMera family. EJ's thirst for vengeance guarantees that his feud with Belle will escalate, drawing in other residents of Salem. Meanwhile, the Devereaux family's journey through grief will continue to evolve as they navigate life without Abigail, finding new ways to honor her memory. Days of Our Lives continues to deliver the drama, passion, and emotional depth that have made it a beloved staple of daytime television. With storylines like these, it's clear that the residents of Salem will keep us captivated for years to come.